In the past months, Israel's greatest enemies have been defeated one after another. And to mark these eliminations, let's rank the most humiliating defeats of Israel's enemies in the Bible. In fourth place, Abimelech, son of Gideon. Abimelech decided to crown himself king, killed all his brothers, hired a gang of mercenaries to protect him, and spread fear throughout the area by killing anyone who dared oppose his rule, not a king, but a gang leader. Everyone feared him except perhaps his younger brother Jotham. During one of his violent attacks from city to city, a random woman threw a millstone and struck his skull. Like Sinwar, Abimelech knew these were his final moments, but it was very important to him that history wouldn't record that a woman killed the first king of Israel. So he asked his armor-bearer to finish the job. It didn't help him much because history recorded him as the worst leader Israel ever had. He appointed himself, killed people, and died a humiliating death that caused widespread celebration. In third place, Sisera. Unlike Abimelech, Sisera did die at the hands of a woman. All of Sisera's might proved worthless against a jug of warm milk that Jael, wife of Heber the Kenite, served him in her tent. Sisera believed the Kenite tribe would stay neutral and safe, but learned the hard way that neutral parties often become the biggest betrayers during wartime. After he fell asleep, Jael drove a tent peg through his skull into the ground and went to tell Barak to come collect the body. In second place, Eglon, king of Moab, who suffered the most embarrassing death possible. Israel's first secret agent, Ehud ben Gera, carried out a clever plan to enter the palace with a sword, winning the king's trust enough to stay alone with him without his guards. The moment the king rose from his chair to greet him, Ehud struck and stabbed him in the stomach. Ehud, being a skilled assassin, knew exactly where to cut to make the king's intestines spill out the other side. He also knew not to pull out the sword to avoid bloodstains, allowing him to leave the king's chamber, pass by the guards, and escape. The confused guards, who smelled the terrible odor, assumed the king just wanted privacy during an especially unpleasant bathroom break. By the time they realized what happened, Ehud was already at the other end of his kingdom with an organized army that defeated the Moabite forces. First place goes to Jezebel, the Bible's greatest villain. She executed prophets, brought idol worship into Israel, and ran the kingdom and her husband Ahab with corruption that would make today's North Korea look mild. When army commander Jehu, son of Nimshi, rebelled against the monarchy, Queen Jezebel, who by this point had lost her husband and sons, knew this was likely her end. But she decided she would die as beautifully as possible, so she put on makeup and stood by the window, watching Jehu's army approach. She wanted to die dramatically. It didn't quite work out. Her two guards, who had already switched sides, pushed her from the window, and Jehu's horse trampled her again and again. And if that wasn't enough, Jehu left her body in the field for dogs to eat what remained. The only things that survived of the queen, who just wanted to die beautifully, were her hands and feet. These biblical accounts show us that, no matter how powerful Israel's enemies seemed, they often met unexpectedly humiliating ends. From Abimelech's millstone to Jezebel's dramatic failure, history has a way of bringing even the mightiest tyrants down through surprising means. Sometimes it's a woman with a tent peg, other times it's a skilled assassin. But the pattern remains the same. Those who oppose Israel often find themselves on the wrong side of both history and dignity. If you found these historical accounts fascinating, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos exploring the unexpected and dramatic stories from ancient texts.